Hi guys, I'm Ryan Newsman and welcome to my fly tying channel. If you haven't already done so, consider hitting the subscribe button down here. That'll keep you up to date with everything as I upload it. My channel already contains hundreds of videos covering a wide range of both patterns and techniques, from the basic to the more advanced. So without delay, let's get on. Hi guys, welcome back. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take like a squirmy wormy type San Juan worm, but in an earthworm colour. So San Juans are generally this sort of I don't know what you'd call that. It's like a strange red colour anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of this. This is a vineyard worm body, and this is an earthworm colour. And I'm going to add in a blackhead to it. So we have here a curved XX strong scud or shrimp type hook. This one happens to be a Fulling Mill super heavyweight grub, although there are lots and lots of different brands with similar styles of hook. So we're going to use a lead wire underbody. So what I'm going to do is hold this with my left hand here, put it around the shank, and then I'm going to wrap it on quite tightly, and then I'm going to snap it off at the front and snap it off at the back. Now you notice I've left quite a distance here, and that's because this material loves to slip, and I am going to try and create a taper here so that we don't have a step, because it will literally just slide straight off the front of a step. And then using our tying thread, we're going to secure in the lead, and then I'm going to create this taper and take away the step at the front. And again at the back. And we're trying to get a decent bit of coverage in that because it's going to show through. And I'm using here, as I said, like a pale orange type colour. I did try using a red thread, and it just didn't work for me. It gave me three contrasts in colour. So I've gone for this sort of more, something that's closer to the colour of the actual squirmy material that we're using. So for me, an earthworm has a dark or blackhead. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking here, this is a Pro marker pen, and I'm just going to use this one, which is like a dark blue, and do the front of the fly. How much is up to yourself, but I'm doing that in a dark blue, and that will show through the squirmy as we tie it on. So we're going to take our squirm here, and we're going to pick out how long we want the tail to be. So that's up to yourself again, but I'm going to make maybe about 1.5 inches or so here. So I'm going to tie that in just where I've quit tapering my body. I'm going to stretch it back, then take the other strand as well, stretch the two of them. Now they will stretch, at least 10 times their own length, I would say. And what I'm trying to do here is to keep the one that's going to be the tail as the underneath section, and the one that's going to do the wrapping then as the one over it. I get to the back here, I'm going to take a couple of turns onto the thread again, and then I'm going to take a couple of turns, onto the hook, and then I'm going to take a couple of turns again onto that tail section. And those ones are just not as tight as the ones that were tying it down as we went backwards, as I don't want it to cut through. Then I'll take my tying thread, and I'm going to take it up here to the back of my little dark portion. Next, I'm going to flip the fly over, because I find that with these curved hooks, that if we use this as like a cup, that things tend to slide less. So if we wrap this on fairly loosely, we'll get this segmented look, but it does tend to slip. But then these flies are not intended to last. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that forward to where the black portion starts, and then, so I've wrapped it on fairly loosely to give me this fattish segmented sort of look. Once I get to the dark portion, I'm going to tie it forward quite tight, then I'm going to stretch it back and I'm going to wrap back over it. And this is just for me a little bit of added double security as such. And then I'm going to colour in that bit that I've just wrapped again. So what we'll do is now take the tying thread forward over our dark portion here. Then I'm going to stretch this squirmy material forward to it, almost like you were doing a nymph case. And then I'm going to wrap back to this junction. I'm going to colour this section again. Now, it wants to slip forward, so the idea behind this is that it'll slip back onto itself and the eye should hopefully hold it forward. So I'm now wrapping back until I get to this junction, and then I'm going to tie that in, and my wraps are sort of sinking into it, and then I'm going to come forward in wide open wraps. It'll create a little bit like segmentation. Then I'm going to stretch it back off the eye and get my wraps tight in behind the eye, and then I'll put in several half hitches and let them slide down in behind the eye and under the actual squirmy material. Stretch this up, nick that off, and nick that as well. And that has created our little blackhead worm. Now, these things are not designed to last. They will fall apart. It's just the nature of this material, and if it gets in contact with anything else that is any sort of solvent and any other bit of plastic, you can't predict how it's going to react. So it's not something you're going to tie up and keep in your box all year, I would imagine. So you're probably going to have to tie them up as and when you require them to go fishing. And I suppose that's why they're also known as junk flies. So hopefully that catches you a few fish and give you some ideas. So if you like what you saw, give us a like, subscribe, tell your friends, leave some comments, and until next time, tight lines, and thanks for watching.